Okay, so today we're going to be playing a solo playthrough of the game Fickle. All right, for setup, basically what you're going to do is you're going to pull 5 Fickle tokens out of the box and place them as your round markers for this solo playthrough. And then you're going to choose 5 families. You can choose the 5 families from the box at random, or you could choose to pull one of the families or groups of families from the selection they have here on the rule sheet. That for an easy game, these are the families to pull, medium, or hard. I went ahead on this game, just pulled 5 random families out of the box. The first thing you're going to do is lay 7 cards away from you that's going to create the Old Guard Alliance. So let's go ahead and do that. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. And of course, using the Fickle rule set, you're stacking the same cards in a family together. So currently what we have here is the 7 cards that create the Old Guard Alliance. Next, you're going to pull 3 cards down for your alliance. Now, when you pull these 3 cards, you're not going to keep one of them. You're going to choose 2 to keep and 1 to put up in a dismiss pile. So let me really quickly stop here to explain kind of the base of the game and why you'll be choosing cards and the premise on how to win. Basically, by the end of the 5th round, you want to make sure your favor equals the Old Guard favor. So you want to have the exact same amount of favor on both sides to win the game. So to do that, you're going to be going through rounds, pulling cards for just yourself. You're going to be pulling 3 cards per round. And you're going to be processing those 3 cards in one of 3 ways. You're either going to place it down here in your alliance, which will obviously add its favor or negate its favor in some way, depending on the family. And you're also going to be taking the activation of the card into account, which is the only way you're going to be able to adjust, move, change the Old Guard Alliance, because the Old Guard Alliance cards will never change unless your activations change them. The other thing you can do is place them in a stack up here in the corner called a dismiss pile. Basically a discard pile, or you're going to place it down here in the corner called a fairy court. The fairy court triggers on the 5th round. Basically, the cards that you stack here on the 5th round, you're not going to draw 3 cards. You're going to rifle through the fairy court and choose one of those cards to place into your alliance. So it might be a future idea that you have that you might want to throw a card in here thinking, oh, I might use that to help me balance my alliance at the end of the game. So what we're going to do here with that in mind is we got to choose which card to get rid of here. So since we're trying to equal the amount of cards they have here, you're going to want to make sure that you keep the correct card to begin with. Now, obviously the basic Fickle scoring goes as follows. If you have a single card in a family, it counts its points as favor. If you have 2 cards in a family, they negate each other and they become a 0. If you have 3 or 4 cards in a family, they take the highest favored card and turn it into a negative. And then if you have 5 cards in a family, every point on those cards count, but all the rest of the families don't count. So with that in mind, right now for the Old Guard, we are looking at 2 plus 3, which is 5. This negates itself. This makes a negative 4. So currently the Old Guard is sitting at 1 favor. Down here, I'm currently sitting at, if I kept these this way and got rid of this one, I'd be at 0, or I can be at 3 or 5 if I get rid of the other one. So because they're so low right now, I think I'm going to keep both these dispel cards and get rid of this purge card in the dismiss pile. So I'm currently at 0. And that basically is our setup. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start the first round. Flip your round marker over. You're going to draw 3 cards from the draw deck. Now, just like in the base game of Fickle, you don't get to see what cards they are. You're going to pull 1 card at a time, and you're going to take one of 3 actions with it. So, what we're going to do is look at the first card here, and we have a Purge. Now, the Purge, if I put it in my activation, obviously it's going to trigger this, but it's also going to add a point. So let's see here. All players take the fairy of the highest favor in their alliance and put it into the dismiss pile. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to take this Purge. My highest is a 3. Their highest is a 4. So now, just with the first card, we're looking at them at a 5 because they no longer have the 3 at a negative. These both negate each other. So they're currently at 5. I'm only at 2. So we're going to go ahead and flip the next card. Okay, so I would like to keep this to get me closer, but then it says all players take the fairy of the lowest favor in their alliance and pass it to the direction of the current round. So you know what? I am actually going to keep that, because what I will do is I will move this dispel up, because it's my lowest. And their lowest is this 2 as well, which is dispel, which will bring it down here. Now, if ever let's say there were multiple 2s over here in the Old Guard Alliance, the rules state for the solo playthrough that you will always make a decision that best suits you. So you get to choose what you want to take or move. So now currently we're sitting at 5 for me and 4 for the Old Guard Alliance. And we have one more card here. Share. I'm just going to go ahead and put that in the dismiss pile. That's round 1. We'll now go to round 2. Draw our 3 cards. And see what we have here. Dispel. I'm going to dismiss that card. I'm going to keep that card. Okay, so this says next round, view the first 2 cards in your fairy lineup before fairy selection. This card probably isn't as important in the solo round. I mean, obviously you're going to get to see what your next 2 cards are going to be when normally you can't see what the next card is. But we're going to put it down. I mainly want it for the point. So we're currently sitting at 6, and they're still sitting at 4. Because I think hopefully we'll be able to move some cards around here pretty soon. And the last one is this purge card. Okay. I am going to go ahead and keep this card. When I do, obviously it makes this a negative, but it says all players take the fairy of the highest favor in their alliance and put it in the dismiss pile. That is my highest card. Put it in the dismiss pile. Over here, 3s are their highest. So again, I make the choice that I want to make. I can get rid of this one, but then they'd only be at 1 point, which gets them even further away from me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 3 here and put it in the dismiss. And now, through the second round, they're sitting at 7. And I am sitting at 6, so a little closer. So now we're going to go to the next round. Draw your 3 cards. Dispel. I'm going to, you know what? I'm actually going to put that down in the fairy court. I'm going to place this down here. Oh, I did forget. Okay, so at the beginning of that, I could have looked at the top 2 cards because I had that psychic. I forgot to do that, but okay, so here I pull the illusion. It says at the end of the game, each illusion may become a member of another family or score as its own family. So that's good, but what it really does is add the 1. So currently, I'm at 7, they're at 7. So right now, we ended the game, things would be great. Okay, psychic. Now, obviously, I just want to take a moment to say, now that we're even, you would think, oh, you're playing solo, so wouldn't you just want to throw all the cards in the dismiss pile? And then you basically end up even throughout the rounds. But that's why you have that last round trigger where you got to pull one of these cards from the fairy court, which is going to change everything. So you want to make sure that either you're putting some more cards in here that can maybe balance you out, or you're trying to set yourself up for whatever card you have in here. I'm going to go ahead and throw this in the fairy court as well. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and draw our next 3 cards. On round 4. Take a look at what we have here. Okay, so I'm actually going to see if I can mix it up a little bit. So I'm going to keep this card. And this says all fairies with the lowest favor in their alliance and pass it. So what I am going to do is I am going to pass, I'm going to pass my psychic, and I'm going to get their dispel because that's their lowest card. So where are we at right now? 0, 0, 3. I'm at 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 3 to 5 right now. Okay, share. Definitely don't want to put this down because then that'll create a -4. So let's see here. I'm going to put that in the dismiss. And then And this one here, Purge 2. I'm going to keep it, which is going to allow us to get rid of one of our highest into the dismiss pile. There's my highest, their highest. Again here, it could be any one of these. I'm going to get rid of this Psychic here. Okay, so they're sitting at 4. I'm sitting at 6. Okay, now, 5th round. We're not drawing 3 cards. We're drawing one of these cards. And I probably didn't do this well enough for me to choose one that's really going to help me here. Let's see. Yeah, see, that's, if I kept that one, that would have been a great card had they had one more, because this says take a fairy from any alliance and put it in the dismiss pile. Well, I guess that could be my alliance too, but I would be even, because if I put this down here, it negates both of these, and I'd be sitting at 4 and they're at 4. So if I got rid of one of mine, it'd be 3 to 4 and I'd lose, or I'd get rid of one of theirs, it'd be 3 to 4 and I'd lose, or we lose either way. Psychic. Now this is a good one, but it adds 4 to my number. So it looks like I may have just lost the game. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this Dispel. And it says, put this back in the fairy court. It says basically I get rid of 1 from the game. And I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this. Oh, you know what? I forgot that at the end of the game, these can become another family card. But I don't know if that's gonna help me at all. Nope, that won't help me either. Because I thought I can get rid of this, which will leave them at 3. And then I could have made this one of these, but then that makes that a -2. So I'm currently sitting at a 1 while they're at a 3. So I basically lost the first round of solo. So that's basically the solo for Fickle.